Hey guys, what's up? Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video. This one is going to be the fourth in my Transformers 5 Q&A series. So, you guys know the rundown. I'm going to take in this one 5 questions from the comment section of my videos, primarily but not exclusively Transformers 5 related questions, and give some brief answers. Basically, these are questions that I would like to address, however, I don't have enough to say about them to dedicate an entire video towards any of the topics. Of course, if you would like to have a certain topic addressed in a future video, you can drop off the topic in the comment section below. Anyways, let's get right to it. The first question comes from user xxhacksduckxx. His comment reads, considering Transformers 5 is Michael Bay's final film, maybe, do you think Transformers 6 will be a different universe entirely where none of the BayFormers stuff matters? Thanks for the question. My opinions on this? No, I think even if Bay is going to quit after Transformers 5, which I still won't believe until I've seen it for myself, I don't think it would mean a reboot. It could end up being the case, but I'm personally not seeing it at this point. For one, we've already had a good amount of word on the next 3 Transformers films, and there's been no mention of there being a reboot somewhere in there. Also, the movies are more than just Michael Bay. Though we've pretty much had the whole cast switched out in Age of Extinction, we still have a lot of the same people on board in regards to the production of the films, and that could end up being the case with Transformers 6 or the Bumblebee spin-off, whatever it's going to be, and if indeed Michael Bay is going to leave. At this point in time, I would say we've been given the impression that the people within the writer's room have been hard at work for the next few films since long before Bay stated that he would be leaving after Transformers 5. So I would highly doubt that even if they wanted to reboot, seeing an opportunity after Bay left, that they would scrap all the writing they've done. Like I said, even if they wanted to, it's probably too late in the game at this point because Transformers 5 is probably counting on another 2 films at least. And this goes back to the point that Bay is only one guy, and he's just the director of the film. I mean, there are a lot of film series that have changed directors throughout. I mean, look at the original Star Wars trilogy. The first film was directed by George Lucas, The Empire Strikes Back was directed by Irvin Kershner, and then the director was changed again for Return of the Jedi with director Richard Marquand, though I do believe George Lucas had a little bit more influence in regards to directing in that film, where with Empire Strikes Back he was like only on set for like a day or a week or something like that. Anyway, Star Wars trivia. As for more recent examples, I do believe they're going to be following the same pattern with the new Star Wars trilogy, and even the directors for like the Captain America trilogy have changed. The first director didn't do Winter Soldier or Civil War, and with the Iron Man films you had the first 2 directed by the same guy, and then it switched for the 3rd film without any reboot. Now, beyond making my own stop motions and researching certain directors such as Irvin Kershner or Frank Darabont, I don't know a whole lot about the filmmaking process and everything that goes into it. But it's easy to see that the director is just part of it. I would argue he's a very big part of what makes the film the way it is, but something such as him leaving definitely wouldn't warrant a reboot. At least it wouldn't have to. I mean, even if they swapped out a lot of the other people who have been with the films for a while, I still don't think they would reboot it at this point, just because they probably know they have a thing going. All of the films have done really well in the box office. Despite characters they've killed off and concepts they've used, they still have a load of them from Transformers history to use up in the films, and they can always come up with new stuff. You know, the general mainstream audience isn't going to bat an eye, really. At least that seems to be the case with what we've seen from the other films. And finally, if they wanted to do a reboot, the prime timing would have been after Dark of the Moon. Now, they had sort of a soft reboot with Age of Extinction. Obviously, the past events were relevant, but it was more of like a feel and character reboot, if that's a thing. If they wanted to do a hard reboot, that would have been the time. Now it's a little bit too late. We're probably going to have to wait until this cinematic universe plays out to get that. But I could be wrong here. Bay's directing style is in fact kind of what defines the films, just Bayham as some people call it. And I do believe that was partially responsible for the reboot with the Spider-Man films. They had some disputes with Sam Raimi, but I think Tobey Maguire was also quitting the film, so, that definitely would have a large part of it. I think a lot of directors seem to take from Michael Bay's style anyways, so if they wanted to kind of mimic that, they could probably do it pretty easily. That's kind of what a lot of action films are like today, though not quite that chaotic. Anyways, really good question. Hope I gave a sufficient answer, and the next one comes from Big Daddy Reviews. His question is one that this user's been asking about for a while now. His comment reads, when will Dark Energon on the Transformers films, bro? And from your previous comments and inference, I would assume that's will we see Dark Energon in Transformers 5? If not, when will we see it in the Transformer films, if at all? Now, to this user, but also to my viewers in general, who ask questions and then it takes a while for them to get answered, well, here's kind of what's been going on. If I have a lot of older stuff, such as the character predictions, some of those were like a month back or a few weeks, something like that, I have those lined up first because I want to address them before they get pushed really far back. The same goes for news. If we have some big news on Transformers, like the Toy Fair reveals, that kind of takes priority over everything. Also, I've been working on some other things that are pretty big and have been pretty time consuming, and I'll address those at the end of the video for anyone who is interested in hearing about that, as I do have a pretty big question for you guys as the viewers. Nevertheless, I'm finally getting to it, and thanks for the question. As far as Dark Energon, I could see it being used somewhere down the road since we're going to have such a big cinematic universe, but not at this point. My reasoning behind this, Energon itself just hasn't been a big enough focus in the films for them to introduce Dark Energon. Now, it has been mentioned in the films before, but it's never been like a big priority of the story as it was in Transformers Prime or in Transformers Energon. And when they added different types of Energon, whether it be the Toxin or the Super Energon in Transformers Energon, it made sense and felt relevant because over the course of the series, we've seen the concept used a lot, and it was really grounded into our minds and the narrative of the series. Introducing it into the films at this point would be sort of like having Nemesis Prime show up if we never had Optimus in the films. We would be thinking, wait, Nemesis to what? Because Nemesis Prime's significance, in most cases, not all, because I know it can be a little bit different in the comics, but from what we've seen in Transformers Prime and Armada, Nemesis Prime's existence is defined by being sort of like a negative to Optimus. I think the same thing goes for Dark Energon, especially in the way that it's perceived. Now, these films can have a lot of spontaneity in them. I mean, Galvatron could just randomly show up with Dark Energon in Transformers 5. However, I'm doubtful that this will be the case, and I hope not. Especially considering the new writers seem to have a little bit more concern for the films, I don't think they would throw it in there. Now, at the same time, Galvatron's going to need to have some kind of motivation on Earth if they want Galvatron to get into conflict with the Autobots, unless he's just causing trouble for trouble's sake. So maybe he'll be harvesting Dark Energon, or maybe in the films he'll be turning Energon into Dark Energon. We'll have to see. Personally, I think and I hope they'll introduce Energon a little bit more properly in the next few films, have it play more of a role, and then maybe bring in Dark Energon somewhere down the line. Anyways, thanks a lot for the question. The next one comes from user Optimus Grimes. By the way, cool name combining Optimus Prime with the Grimes family name from Walking Dead, for those of you who haven't seen the show. I watched the show pretty regularly. I don't think it was as good as it was with Frank Darabont in Season 1, but it's still a pretty good show, and his comment reads, "Man, I'm a lover of Transformers, really. I have all classes of toys. I have Optimus, Sideswipe, Roadbuster, etc. I think your channel, it's one of the best in all the world. Keep going. Now, I need to ask you if you think all Autobots in Transformers 3, like Topspin, Mirage, the Wreckers, Sideswipe, they get back to Transformers 5. And the wording of the comment is a little bit confusing, but mostly I like to read them verbatim just so I'm not misrepresenting anyone. And thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it. It's really nice to hear as a content producer to always know that people are enjoying the videos, as that's a large part of doing this. Also, I kind of just enjoy getting my thoughts out there, and for some not so opinion-based videos, kind of providing an informative resource, from research, all that kind of stuff. But to get to the question, basically seems to be asking about Topspin, Mirage, the Wreckers, and Sideswipe returning in Transformers 5. Now, this is something that I've discussed in length in previous videos, but I still wanted to address it as it's something that comes up a lot, seems to be the biggest question about Transformers 5. If you want to hear extensive thoughts on those, you can look up my videos, Can Sideswipe and Other Autobots' Deaths Be Confirmed, and Transformers 5, Which Autobots Should Return. But to put my thoughts in short, from what we saw in Age of Extinction, we can't say that either Topspin or Dino, Mirage, Roadbuster, or Sideswipe are dead. Now, we can certainly base assumptions on what was said in the film, but there really isn't any proof. Even if we, as members of the audience, were to assume they were killed off, they could bring them back in Transformers 5 because we never actually seen death scenes, and we don't see parts that would necessarily have to be theirs recycled in the Viacons or in the KSI laboratories. Now, personally, I have long held the opinion that I don't think they will bring these characters back in Transformers 5. I think that their absence from Transformers Age of Extinction was supposed to be a sign that they weren't really planning on using these characters in the future. They wanted to focus on their new cast. Now, we do have a new team of writers for this film, which at this point in time, as I've mentioned, seem to care a little bit more about the consistency of the universe and also fans' opinions. And online, I would say there's definitely been quite an uproar for some of these characters to return in Transformers 5. Sideswipe in particular is the character that gets discussed the most. I've done some videos on it, some other Transformers commentators have. So if they're looking at fans' opinions at all or looking up Transformers 5, hopefully the writers took into account fans' response. And at least in the case of Sideswipe, I don't think it would be too hard to bring him back. They seem to still be interested in marketing not only Sideswipe as a name, but even his movie character, as he had a release in both the Age of Extinction and Lost Age toy lines, though both of those were fairly exclusive releases. For this one, my heart is telling me that we'll at least see Sideswipe come back, but my head's telling me that he probably won't return in Transformers 5, and the same goes for the other ones. I do think if one of them was to return, Sideswipe would definitely have the highest chances. Anyways, thanks a lot for the question. The fourth question comes from user Caillou Lenore. The comment reads, maybe since Dino is Mirage, he may have been invisible and was still hiding. And I figured I would answer this question here because it kind of goes along with the last one. Once again, even if this is a possibility within the abilities of the character, I don't know if they would even take it into account because they might just want us to assume he was killed off. But even looking at it more analytically, I don't think this is really a possibility. For one, even though Dino was supposedly based off of Mirage, as that was, I guess, supposed to be his original name, I don't think that we were given any indication that he could turn invisible. I mean, if he could do this, I guess he could evade the humans for at least long enough to escape to a more desolate location. But someone, a user Natalie Daniels, had replied to the original comment and had brought up the whole Energon heat-seeking night vision thingamajig that the humans used to detect Ratchet and later Optimus. Now, if this were the case, they would still be able to detect him. Now, he could have escaped to a more desolate location, and when he escaped, maybe the humans didn't have that technology on them, something like that. Altogether, I don't think he had invisibility, And even if he did, it probably wouldn't be the best escape plan. I still think it's possible he might have been able to escape from being exterminated by the humans, but I don't think invisibility would have been like a getaway free card or anything like that. Anyways, once again, thanks for the question, and the last one comes from a user, William Colt. His question, what are you waiting for the most? And he had posted this comment on my Machinima series news video, so I'm guessing this is in reference to what am I looking forward to most out of the Machinima series, the upcoming Titans Return line, or the upcoming Transformers films. And at this point, I would probably say the Titans Return line, which at first was probably the lowest on my list, but here's the thing. With the Transformers 5, I mean, it's the 5th film we're getting. We now know it's probably going to be another film of Bayham, hopefully getting better, but, Michael Bay's still directing, so even if it's good, it's something we've seen a lot. The Machinima series, I was super excited for that. I'm still real excited to see Windblade as the main character, but it's only going to be 8 episodes, and each episode is 7 minutes, so that is kind of disappointing. The Titans Return line, on the other hand, has really grown on me over time, especially with really cool figures such as Wheelie. Also, I'm looking to get even deeper into the territory of figure reviews, and I'm really excited about getting off to a good start with the Titans Return line. And speaking of figure reviews, I'm going to end the Q&A here and get into some stuff that's going on with the channel and me personally and what to expect. So it's like I mentioned with addressing Big Daddy Review's questions. I've been busy working on a whole bunch of stuff, most of it kind of behind the scenes and production stuff relating to YouTube, the internet, and all of that. So to get a little bit more in depth, when I started making commentary videos, I kind of just would make videos to discuss Transformers, the new toys, news on the movies, all of that kind of stuff, and I would just get the videos out whenever I got done, and then over time kind of work on getting them out on more of a weekly basis, and I'm kind of at the point where I want to take it more seriously than that in a number of different ways, and I've been devoting a ton of my time and research towards this kind of stuff. For example, just having better quality in the videos, whether that's microphone quality, looking into a better microphone. I've also recently downloaded a trial for Adobe Illustrator to just kind of work on refining my graphics and picture editing for thumbnails, hopefully a better channel banner, and probably a different profile picture eventually. But up until now, I've just worked with Microsoft Picture-It, which is actually a 2001 program, if any of you guys even remember it. Despite how old it is, it's really good, but I do kind of want to move on to something that can make better quality products and is easier to work with. But also a huge part of updating the graphics and all of this has to deal with eventually monetizing more of my videos. Over the past month, or even more so, I've spent hours of research looking into monetization, what can be monetized, terms of service, YouTube music library. Honestly, I'm not an expert on it yet, but if any of you guys have any questions, if you're looking to monetize stuff, if I can answer them, I would be happy to give an answer. But I've been doing a ton of research for that, because if you didn't notice, at this point, very, very few of my videos are actually monetized. At this point, it's just like the figure reviews and maybe 1 or 2 videos here or there. And I don't even have AdSense activated at this point. For those of you who don't know, that's basically what you need to make money off your videos. So up to this point, I have made no money off of any of my videos. I'm an adult now, so I probably should be thinking about that more seriously. I mean, from working on this channel, I've kind of come to the point where it's like if I could become a full-time YouTuber and sustain myself through that, well, not necessarily YouTuber, because I definitely like to expand into other areas of the internet, especially because YouTube doesn't seem like the most stable system. So along with the monetization, I've had plans for another channel, which is something I would run alongside this. It's not Transformers related, it's a little bit more general, deals with sort of miscellaneous stuff I'm interested in. If anyone's interested in knowing about it, you can ask me and I could talk about it a little bit more in another video, but it's taken a lot of reading, thinking, planning, once again, research. I know I'm using that word a lot, not only for monetization and making sure everything's appropriate, but also to make sure the videos I would be putting out would be super high quality. And even though I started it off kind of thinking of it like a job, a way to make some income from YouTube, so far I've really enjoyed just about everything that I've done for the channel, even if it's a little bit frustrating at points. I'm really liking the looks of it so far, which is essential to doing a YouTube channel, because even if you're making a lot of money off of it, if you don't enjoy the channel, for one, you're probably never going to be able to get that big because, people are probably going to be able to tell even subconsciously, and they aren't going to watch your videos and you aren't going to enjoy it. So that's what I'm looking at doing there, something that I enjoy, but I could also make some money off of because I need to support myself somehow. Now, where this channel, my Dingo Crikey channel with all the Transformers content, where it is right now, it's something that I enjoy, but I'm not really sure that I can monetize a lot of the content. And this is going to kind of get into my big question for you guys. I don't think that I can monetize a lot of my videos with the way they are because they contain a lot of images in them that are probably copyrighted. And if you're looking to show images in a Transformers video that are relevant to the topic, it would be pretty hard for them to not be copyrighted in some form because it's an official image of a figure, for example, a screenshot from Michael Bay's movies. Now, there are some YouTubers who are able to show certain copyrighted material and they still monetize their videos. I've seen some Bionicle channels do this, for example. I am not exactly sure how this works, and I do plan to look into it more. I think there's a way around it because you can say, well, my thing's like a review, it's news, and it's commentary, so, legal stuff. But in that area, I definitely want to be really careful, especially with all of the YouTube controversy. Now, as far as monetizing figure reviews, I think I should be totally fine there, and I definitely plan on doing it and doing more figure reviews altogether. Now, I would like to monetize some of the regular discussion videos as well, but I would definitely be more limited in the images that I would use. Like I said, maybe there's a way around some of them with fair use, but I would definitely have to be more cautious. And that's why I was thinking about using some other backdrop rather than the current one I have where I have my whole setup, with the crikey formers, all of that kind of stuff. Instead, I'm thinking of having a simpler backdrop. For instance, if I were playing a game like Tetris, unless that's copyrighted, just have footage of that playing in the background while I discuss the topics. Or once I get a new profile picture / channel icon, just kind of having that picture there as I discuss this stuff, and still an intro sequence and all that. Or sometimes switching to pictures which I took of figures which I own. Now, there would be videos that this wouldn't affect, such as Toy Fair reveals. I would still want to show the images, so it just makes it easier, when I'm discussing them, you guys can see the images, all of that. Also, if we have some Transformers 5 news, say concept art, or on-set images, those videos would still be pretty much like they are now. And those videos in particular simply wouldn't be monetized. And this would obviously be a really big change, but there have been other reasons I've been thinking about doing this. For one, it would make editing a lot easier. Therefore, if I did it this new way, I could get out content much quicker, and I would probably be able to actually keep to my schedule of 3 videos a week. And if there was just some news that popped up, I would probably be able to upload a news video while keeping those 3 videos for that week, because editing these actually takes more time than you would probably think. Even though I realize the video part of my content definitely isn't the most entertaining thing. Honestly, I don't really mind doing the editing. I would actually like to make each video have super high production value. If you would like to see what personally I would like to be able to do, go over to DigiBro's channel. He does anime videos, and I think when he puts a lot of work into them, his videos look really nice. He does really good writing. As far as sound and video, he just has a great presentation, but for this channel, I definitely can't do that, and even editing, when it can be kind of enjoyable, can become frustrating under a tight schedule. Plus, if I weren't taking so much time to edit every video, I would be able to spend more time writing the actual content, so you wouldn't have a video like this where I'm probably making a lot of mistakes in my speech. I need to re-record things. You guys can probably tell which ones of my videos were written as opposed to which ones I just wrote down a few notes for and just spoke off the cusp. I would really like to be able to at least do an outline for each video. And also, if I were doing things this way, it would help with the other channel that I plan on doing and dedicating more time to do that. And hopefully it could kind of come full circle, you know, if I could start picking up some ground with the other channel that I plan on doing, putting out more content on this Dingo Crikey channel and monetizing more of it. That means like I'd be able to get like all of the Titans Return figures, go back and get some other figures, maybe third-party stuff, and like review all of this stuff and do extensive commentary on it too. Like, for example, I would like to do like comparisons between third-party figures and Hasbro's mainline figures, the different toy lines and what's changed throughout the years, and basically being able to make some monetary gain off of my videos would really help in all areas and with the production of future videos. I've also always wondered like how many people actually watch the videos as opposed to just listening to the audio. For example, when I listen to other YouTubers' commentary, oftentimes I just minimize the video and let the audio play. If that's the case for most people, then I'm wondering if it's kind of a waste to spend all that time editing. So finally, my question to you guys is the video presentation part of my commentaries really that detrimental to the way you watch the videos? And would you mind if I were to do something else with the presentation, at least for the majority of my discussion type of videos? So that's kind of what the poll is about, but also I would really appreciate if you guys let me know how you think like general audience members or new viewers would receive it. I mean, I would probably mention at the beginning of the video that I won't be showing certain things because of copyright issues, all of that, but you know, do you think it would be a turnoff if there's no Transformers content like images right in front of them, like the Autobot symbol that smashes into the background at the beginning of all my videos, that kind of thing? And in regards to any of these topics, you can of course drop off your thoughts in the comment section below, as they would be really appreciated. And that sums up this Goliath of a Q&A. You guys know the rundown. If you have thoughts on any of the Q&A topics discussed in this video, you can drop them off in the comment section below, along with anything pertaining to the updates portion of the video. Also, please vote on the video's poll to let me know how important the video presentation is to you. Also, drop off any topic suggestions you have for future Q&As, or maybe it would be something I would do an entire video on. You know, topics can pertain to Transformers 5, Robots in Disguise, the toy line, anything Transformers related. And if you want more Transformers and more stuff from me, you can check out the previous videos on my channel, stay tuned for new videos, and follow me on Twitter if you have an account. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one, guys. I'll see you soon.